Have you ever stopped to wonder what our world would look like without the vibrant red of a strawberry, the deep purple of a plum, or the bright orange of a pumpkin? Imagine a breakfast table with no berries for your cereal, a summer picnic with no juicy melons, and a world where even coffee and chocolate have become rare and expensive luxuries. This is not some distant fantasy. It is a future we are drifting towards if we ignore the plight of some of the planet's smallest, yet most important creatures. These tiny animals are the artists who paint our world with the colors of our food, and their quiet work happens all around us, every single day, often completely unnoticed. The truth is, our lives are deeply connected to these small beings. A truly astonishing statistic reveals the scale of our dependence. Around 75% of the world's leading food crops benefit from animal pollination. This means that 3 out of every 4 bites of food you take are, in some way, thanks to the tireless efforts of an animal pollinator. This incredible figure shows us that our food systems, which feed billions of people across the globe, are not just built on soil and water. They are built upon a delicate and ancient partnership between plants and the animals that help them reproduce, a relationship that has evolved over millions of years. So what exactly is this vital process? Pollination is, quite simply, nature's way of creating new life in the plant kingdom. It is the transfer of pollen from the male part of a flower to the female part, which enables fertilization and the production of seeds, fruits, and vegetables. While some plants rely on the wind, a vast number depend on animals to do this job. Bees, butterflies, birds, bats, and even tiny beetles act as couriers, carrying pollen from one flower to another as they search for nectar. This simple act is the foundation of much of the food that fills our plates and sustains our very existence. Without these pollinators, our supermarkets would look starkly different. The fruit and vegetable aisles would shrink dramatically. Apples, almonds, blueberries, cherries, and so many more would vanish or become incredibly expensive. The cost of basic foods would soar, making healthy diets unaffordable for many families around the world. The variety and richness of our meals would be lost, replaced by a much more limited and less nutritious selection of wind-pollinated crops like wheat and corn. It is a bleak prospect, one that highlights just how fragile our global food security truly is. The disappearance of pollinators would send shockwaves far beyond our dinner plates, triggering a cascade of consequences throughout the natural world. These creatures are not just essential for our agriculture, they are keystone species in their own ecosystems. They are the threads that hold the tapestry of life together. Wild flowering plants, from the flowers in our meadows to the great trees in our forests, depend on them to reproduce. Without pollinators, these plants would struggle to set seed, leading to a gradual decline in plant diversity and the collapse of entire plant communities that have existed for millennia. This loss of plant life would have a devastating effect on the wider food web. The fruits and seeds produced by pollinated plants are a critical food source for a huge variety of animals, from small birds and rodents to large mammals like bears. If the plants disappear, so too will the animals that rely on them for survival. This creates a domino effect, where the loss of one part of the ecosystem leads to the decline of many others. The intricate balance of nature, which has been fine-tuned over countless generations, would be thrown into chaos, leading to a much quieter and less resilient planet. Biodiversity, the wonderful variety of all living things on Earth, would suffer a catastrophic blow. Pollinators themselves contribute to this diversity, with hundreds of thousands of different species, each adapted to specific plants and habitats. More importantly, they are the guardians of plant diversity. By helping plants reproduce, they ensure the continuation of a rich genetic pool that allows species to adapt to changing conditions. The loss of pollinators would mean the loss of this genetic library, making our natural world much more vulnerable to disease and environmental change. For humanity, the consequences extend beyond food. Many of the medicines we rely on are derived from plants, a significant number of which require pollination to survive. The health of our forests, which provide us with clean air and water, also depends on the pollination of trees. Even the cotton in our clothes comes from a plant that benefits from pollinators. From the food we eat to the air we breathe and the clothes we wear, our lives are supported by this unseen workforce. Their decline is not just an environmental issue, it is a direct threat to our own well-being and prosperity. So why are these essential creatures facing such a perilous future? The threats are numerous and complex, but they are almost all a result of human activity. One of the greatest dangers is the loss of their natural homes. As we build more cities, roads, and expand our farms, we destroy the wildflower meadows, forests, and wetlands that pollinators need to find food and shelter. For a bee or a butterfly, a vast field of a single crop can be like a desert, offering nothing to eat once the main crop has finished flowering. This fragmentation of habitats leaves them isolated and vulnerable. The widespread use of chemical pesticides and herbicides in modern farming also poses a grave threat. These chemicals are designed to kill insects and weeds, but they do not distinguish between pests and beneficial creatures like bees. Even at low levels, these substances can harm pollinators, affecting their ability to navigate, reproduce, and fight off diseases. They can be brought back to the hive or nest, poisoning the entire colony. We are, in our effort to protect our crops, inadvertently poisoning the very creatures that help them grow, a tragic and self-defeating cycle. On top of this, our changing climate is creating new challenges. As global temperatures rise, the delicate timing between flowers blooming and pollinators emerging is being disrupted. Flowers may bloom earlier than usual, before their pollinators have arrived, or vice versa. This mismatch means that both the plant and the pollinator miss their window of opportunity. Extreme weather events, such as droughts and floods, can also destroy habitats and wipe out entire populations of these sensitive insects, pushing them closer to the brink of extinction. These factors, habitat loss, chemical pollution, and climate change, do not act in isolation. They combine to create a perfect storm of pressures that is proving too much for many pollinator populations to withstand. The result is what many scientists are calling a silent extinction, happening quietly in our fields and gardens. It is a crisis that unfolds not with a loud bang, but with the gradual gathering silence of a world with fewer butterflies dancing in the breeze and fewer bees humming amongst the flowers. It is a silence we cannot afford to ignore. While the situation is urgent, it is far from hopeless. The future of our pollinators is not yet written, and we all have the power to help turn the tide. The solutions begin in our own backyards and communities. One of the most effective things any of us can do is to create a pollinator-friendly garden. By planting a variety of native flowers that bloom at different times of the year, we can provide a reliable source of food from spring through to autumn. Even a small window box on a city balcony can become a vital refueling station for a hungry bee. We can also make a difference through the choices we make as consumers. By supporting local, organic, and sustainable farms, we encourage agricultural practices that avoid harmful pesticides and promote biodiversity. These farms often maintain wildflower strips and hedgerows, creating safe havens for pollinators within the agricultural landscape. Choosing to buy honey from local beekeepers also supports those who are actively managing and caring for bee populations. Every purchase we make is a vote for the kind of world we want to live in, one that works with nature, not against it. Beyond our own actions, we can advocate for better policies to protect pollinators. This can mean encouraging local councils to plant pollinator-friendly flowers in public parks and on roadsides, or supporting national and international efforts to restrict the use of the most harmful pesticides. By raising our voices and making it clear that pollinator protection is a priority, we can drive the large-scale changes that are needed to secure their future. Change happens when enough people demand it, and our collective voice can be a powerful force for good. The challenge before us is great, but so is our capacity for change. The quiet hum of a bee is the sound of a healthy planet at work. It is the sound of our food systems functioning, our ecosystems thriving, and our world blooming with life and color. Protecting these remarkable creatures is not just about saving bees or butterflies. It is about safeguarding the beauty and resilience of our shared home. Every flower planted, every conscious purchase made, and every voice raised in their defense is a step towards a brighter, more hopeful future for pollinators and for ourselves.